Kojo Baden and Chilku Community Radio Research Project is bringing communities together, sharing experiences, shaping health, advocacy, and making sure your voice is heard where it matters most.
Want to be part of the conversation? Join us, share your story, and let's create change together.
Kojo Baden and Chilku Community Radio, your voice, your power, your future. Contact Blaze 07 956 548 781.
If you or someone you love is living with cancer, you don't have to do this alone. Support, understanding, and community starts here.
I need a space where my journey was understood.
Where culture, support, and healing come together.
The C Word Project is a safe space for African and Caribbean individuals to share, connect, and find strength in each other. This is more than support, it's healing together.
Don't wait. Join the conversation today. Reach out to the C Word Project because support starts now.
Contact Blaze on 07 956 548 781.
Welcome. If you've just joined us, guys, you've tuned in to the Let's Talk Show live with the girl Blaze and Big E. Well, I've got to start by saying today is a Saturday after karaoke, so I'm just going to check that E is actually awake. E, good morning, how you doing?
Good morning, I'm here, man. Grand Rising, everyone. And
Grand
yes, it's
Rising.
a Saturday after karaoke, and I am here.
Here. So E, we are just about here, right?
Yeah, definitely.
We are just about here because last night's karaoke event was off the chain.
Yeah, it was off the 70s chain, to be exact.
Off the 70s chain, because we had a collaboration with the Carry On Comedy crew, and it was a 70s night. Actually, E, I thought, do you not have an afro?
No.
Well, do you not have one now, but have you not got an afro?
No, I lost my afro. I couldn't find it, and I didn't get time to buy one.
You lost my afro.
Yeah, I lost my afro, man.
Do you know how many people have lost their afro?
Yeah.
So he's lost his afro, so he couldn't wear an afro. But we did have like flared trousers, colourful shirts. There was a guy with an afro and an afro comb.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
That was cool. Was it? But he's a bit huggy bearish, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Lots of people made a real effort to get dressed up. So, you know, firstly though, I do want to send a shout out to the team. Sometimes we spend a lot of time just kind of working together. Hi, how you doing? Thanks, see you at the next event. But today I want to send a special shout out to the team because without you guys, it just would not be possible. And last night was one of those days where you get to reappreciate and give some gratitude. So to Big E, who did some DJing last night, which was fantastic. To Marsha, who joined us, who actually came down to sing some songs, but she joined and helped out. To Sandra, our trusted assistant, always there. To Susan, who does a great job of selling the raffle tickets. To Omawale, who's at the door, and Isaac. Although Isaac wasn't there last night, I do want to say thank you for all of your support. And to Omawale, who comes out despite so many challenges that we all have in terms of just showing up. Have I missed anybody, E? Sandra, Susan, Sarah, Piper. Yeah, have I said Piper yet?
Yeah.
Okay, because without Piper, I tell you, there probably would really be no karaoke. He does all of the pulling together of the music, and everybody has their individual specialities. And without either one of you, it would just be like driving a car with three wheels. So I just want you guys to know, thank you for coming on board. I know that I especially have loads of crazy ideas. I just wake up, I've got an idea, and then it's a thing. What's great is that you guys just jump on board with the thing and work out what the thing is partway through the ride often. So thank you guys for that. Big shouts also to the Kilburn Bridge, who host us every month. Thank you guys for being so wonderful. And also to the bouncers, because we've got some really... Are they called bouncers, E?
No, they're called security now, or door supervisors.
Sorry, door supervisors. I think I'm still in the 70s. Door supervisors. So to the door supervisors, thank you so much. And everybody that showed up and dressed up and celebrated their birthdays That was wonderful. A special shout out to Hasna, because I left with a tray full of salt fish fritters and tamarind sauce. I don't know if you're into that, but I can share some with you. I've got more on top of plenty.
No, that's good. You
Okay.
you enjoy.
Just checking. So, Hasna, thank you so much. So, guys, listen. Welcome to the Let's Talk Show live on the Chalk Hill Community Radio Station. The Chalk Hill Community Radio Station is all about keeping the community connected. Today's show, of course, is sponsored by Lloyd and Montague of Forever Living. When was the last time you did something for the first time? And, of course, have you been living your best life? E, have you done anything for the first time?
Yeah, played some tunes at karaoke last
That's
night.
right. You did. For the first time, E DJ'd fully at the Kilburn Bridge. And trust me, if there was ever a day to do something for the first time, it was last
Yesterday
night.
was it? Yeah.
It was yesterday. So, yeah, E did that for the first time. I don't know if I've done anything new. No, I don't think I have. I think every day's a new day. But I haven't done anything significant like that. So well done. A big shout to go out to... He had to spud him this morning. He had to get spuddings this morning because he was just so amazing yesterday. Thank you so much for that. So guys, if you have done anything for the first time, or if you're just simply living your best life, then we'd love to hear all about that on 07956 548781. At 07956 548781. I want to send a good morning shout out to those listening live on YouTube and say a grand rising to Allah of Nico Soft TV. So guys, if you're listening to us live on YouTube, pop a question in the message section and we certainly will do our best to respond. But it is a Let's Talk Show live where anything can happen, and Big E?
It usually does.
It usually does, and today I just don't know. Let's see. But it is, of course, Let's Talk Show, and the Let's Talk Show is the real talk show. It's always an absolute pleasure to be here on a Saturday morning, even if we've just literally rolled out of our beds. So, guys, yeah, karaoke, wonderful. Did you have a good time, E?
It was off the chain.
It was good, wasn't it?
It was off the 70s chain. Yeah. It was
Yeah.
really good.
Some good 70s tune. I was trying to think. Kung Fu Fighting did it for me.
Yeah, I mean, Kung Fu Fight, when that kicked off, I had to step out of the way. People were kicking and punching.
In
and
it,
all
pardon the
kind
pun,
of- Yeah.
when that kicked off.
Everybody was everyone was practicing their Kung Fu for some reason.
Yeah, Kung Fu Fighting. That was yeah, that was good. I had a great time with that when I saw people Kung Fu fighting. It just really took me back to the 70s. We are, of course, all about love, but we had to do some fighting yesterday because
Yeah.
we had to give some credit to the tune. And that was a tune back in the day. If you could get to hear that tune as a child, because I think our parents used to play that track, and we learned to do some Kung Fu fighting. So yeah, so all of you that got involved in the Kung Fu fighting, it was good. So that one did it for me. There was loads of others. That was a little bit of soca. I think, did we have Tiny Wine or something? We had some old soca as well, and that was wonderful. What were the tunes that you were playing, E? What were some of your
I
favourites?
was playing more like some James Brown. I played like some Across the Track. You know,
Oh yeah, that was a good one for me.
Yeah. I was more into in kind of like the funk era, playing some funky stuff and things like that. So
Yeah.
so old school 70s.
And the
what I mean?
singing.
Yeah, the karaoke. Oh, jeez, and that young lady that sung, now I'm telling you, oh my days.
Do you know something about what happened with that young lady? I don't know if you checked what happened. So this young lady comes up, puts up a song. I said, "Is it your first time here?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "Cool." We gave her the song, and she took that song all the way to the top and back. People
Yeah.
were screaming. They were standing. I was almost in tears. I was thinking, how wonderful. And then I said, "Whose child are you?" Because I knew that she was a young person. And then when she pointed to her mum, I realised that it was a child that I used to look after. I was like, "Oh no, you're going to make me cry." Yeah, I used to look after her. She went to the same school as my son. And then when I looked at her properly afterwards, I could see her like primary school features.
Yeah,
But that just was, that is,
yeah,
that was off the chain.
yeah, that was a tune of the night.
I don't know where she got that voice from, but it was amazing. So when you work with children and then, you know, they become adults and you see them doing wonderful things, it's such a beautiful scenario. So big shouts out to Brianna. She took the karaoke to another level. So guys, we had a wonderful Friday night. It is Saturday morning, and we've got some wonderful guests. In fact, our first guest is somebody who I think has also grown. We interviewed her some years ago at our older premises, and she's just like matured into a wonderful individual. And I just want to encourage everybody to kind of search, you know, yourself, because there is greatness in all of us. That young lady that sang yesterday, I never saw that greatness. I had no idea she had that voice. So one of my favourites is M People, Search for the Hero, just like this.
Chalk Hill Community Radio Station, playing for every generation.
So that was, of course, M People, Search for the Hero Inside Yourself. One of my favourites, guys. Sometimes everything you need, you already have. You've just got to search for it. Have a word with yourself, as they say. Have a word with yourself. Guys, I don't know, somehow I forgot to say the quote. But today's show is entitled The Hill We Climb. And the quote for today is, the starting point of all achievements is desire. You must have desire to just get started. Desire is a thing that tells you you've got a thought, a feeling, or you're excited about something and it's something you want to try. So today we are talking about how we have hills to climb, and the quote suggests that in order for you to start the climb, the starting point is that you should have some desire. Okay, so in the studio today, our first guest, is somebody who I interviewed. I don't know which year now. I'd have to look back. What year was that?
2021.
2021.
Yeah.
Wow, 2021. So Misha, when I interviewed you, this is Misha, our first guest.
Hi.
When I interviewed you the first time, what was our interview conversation around then?
So our interview conversation was me getting prepared to go and volunteer in Ghana.
Yes, that's right.
So it was for about 6 weeks, my placement in Ghana. So I think for young women.
How amazing. How did that go?
It went really, really well. I've since been back to Ghana twice.
Nice.
Yeah.
To do the same program or to do some other stuff?
To visit and do some other stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I guess when you were out there, you made some good connections.
I did, yeah. Made some good connections, some really good friends. Yeah, it was Ghana. I would definitely recommend it. If you haven't been, definitely try to go.
Talk to us a little bit about the difference that you experienced. What was a cultural difference? What was quite a significant thing for you when you went out there?
For me, the sense of community was really heartwarming. But I also enjoyed the fact that as a Jamaican, my parents are Jamaican, I felt a strong connection when I went.
So that's really amazing that you found that connection. That's one of the things that you talk about. That's really super important. So let's talk about what you're doing now, because E didn't even recognise you.
Yeah.
I see that you've grown.
I remember you now,
You've matured. I think it's
Have I?
It's, I think it's your aura more than your presentation, but you've matured.
That's nice.
So today you've actually come along, but you've got 2 young people.
I do.
With
I've
you.
got 2 young people with me. So these 2 young people actually come from a youth club called Hackney Quest.
Okay.
And Hackney Quest are in collaboration with a charity really, really special and dear to my heart called the Dainford Trust. And the Dainford Trust helps to facilitate cultural exchange programs for young people. So right now, Kajari and Abid, who you'll speak to in a little bit, they are prepared.
Young guests, but what we do want to say though is that what I love most about what you said is that you came as a younger person.
I did.
And you went to do an exchange, and
did.
now you're passing the baton down.
I am.
And encouraging the young people to do the same.
Yeah.
So before today, you were going to Johannesburg, weren't you?
Yes, so we were actually going to Johannesburg before. Plans changed, and now we're going to Jamaica. But yeah, just really, really excited about this cultural exchange that we're going to have.
It's really interesting because when you sent the message, "Oh, we're going to Jamaica now," I was like, "Oh, so they're not coming on the show?" I thought you meant guys were going to Jamaica when
Now.
you sent the message.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Oh, we're going to Jamaica now, and I was like, "Oh, okay." So you were going to Johannesburg, but you're going to Jamaica. Tell me first of all how you got involved in the youth club. How did you get involved in the organisation?
So the Dainford Trust and Hackney Quest have actually had a long-standing partnership. So it was just about rekindling connections. We've got a fantastic contact there called Bella. Hi Bella, if you're listening, who is doing a great job helping me to
Your story. And that you're doing the thing. That's very heartwarming for me. I'm going to hand to you to say what that feels like for you.
Well, it's I don't know. I mean, it's just like, wow, what you said you were going to do, you've done.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're here telling us, well, because once we got into the conversation, I kind of like, yes, I remember when you first came on the show and you was looking to raise funds and you was like feeling a little bit stressed because you might not have got it and this, that, and the other, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and now you're here say, well, look, listen, this is what I've done, this is where I've been, and right now I'm passing over the baton some more to other youngsters, and I'm doing the placements now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's amazing. It is really, really great. And it's good to see because you don't normally see the end product. Yeah, you normally just get the starting and people say, yeah, I've got all these ingredients that I'm going to put together.
Yeah.
But we don't get the cake, right?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
We like
we
cake.
never see the cake, you know what I mean? But this is amazing. It's really good.
And so, guys, if you've just joined us, it is, of course, the Let's Talk Show live with the girl Blaze and a big E. Today's show is entitled The Hill We Climb. The quote for today is, "The starting point of all achievement is desire." In the studios today, we have Misha, and her desire was to go to Africa when we first met her. She's carried that out, and now she's come back and she's sharing that experience with some young people. So how do you get to be one of the exchange students? How do you get to be selected?
So we have an application process. If you go on our website, the Dainford Trust's website.
And that's great.
Well, to be honest, we're open to everyone. So yeah, we encourage any young people that's interested.
There's the thing about how does the...
We'll direct them to our website. It's thedainfordtrust.org.uk. We are also on Instagram. It's just the Dainford Trust UK. Get in contact, send us a message, send us an email, and we will get back to you.
Okay, brilliant.
Okay, so Misha, it's always wonderful to hear from those young people that you're talking about. I'm really excited about them going out. I'm going to play Yolanda Adams because I know it's going to be nice, just like this.
Well, it's going to be nice. It's going to be nice. Whatever's in store for me, it's going to be nice. It's crazy right now, Lord, but that's when you shine. I can't start shouting, knowing it's going to be nice. Well, you never promised me that my days would be problem-free, but you did promise to always take care of me. Right now it seems that my troubles will never end. I know you promised to be my closest friend, and it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice. Whatever you got in store for me, Lord. It's gonna be nice. It's crazy right now, Lord, but that's when you shine. I can't start shouting, it's gonna be nice. Well, I gotta remind myself daily who lives inside of me, and when I stay close to you, close to me, you're gonna be no more crying about my situation. I know what I gotta do. I gotta pray, gotta trust, gotta believe. Depend on you. It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice. Whatever you got for me, it's gonna be nice. It seems crazy right now. But I know you shine in the midst of it. Lord, I can't start shouting. I'm gonna shout right now. It's gonna be nice. Oh, so I don't have the right to give up. I don't have the right to give in. You're gonna bring me through, so I'm gonna put my trust in you. I don't have the right to give up. I don't have the right to give in. You've always brought me through, so I'm gonna put my trust in you. Sing it with me. It's gonna be nice. It's crazy right now. Crazy right now. But I know it's gonna be nice. I can't see my way through this, but I know you're working in the midst of it. I can shout right now. It's crazy right now. That's when you come through for me. Every time. It's gonna be nice.
Okay, so guys, it is absolutely going to be nice. It's nice in the studio. Our special guest this morning is Misha. And Misha's come to talk to us about a wonderfully exciting youth exchange. And what's great was during the break, he's just clarified that actually we can go. we could go, but not as students. I think that's what Misha was trying to say quite nicely. But it's a wonderful project, and what we want to do, we want to say thank you to you at this moment, and we're going to ask the boys to come and join us, and we'll see you at the end of the show.
Thank you,
So guys, if you want to get involved in the conversation, then it is 07956548781. And so whilst we're swapping over, thank you, Misha. We'll see you in the second bit. Whilst we're swapping over, I completely forgot to talk about BBMC. It felt like it was the week before, but actually it wasn't. It was last week Saturdays. He's just reminded me. And without no shame at all, when I was in secondary school, One of my favourite reggae artists then was Winston Reedy, and I had his name written on the back of my book, my exercise book. Everyone else was covering their books with brown paper. No, I was writing reggae artists all over mine. No shame. And one of the names on there was Mr. Winston Reedy, and so what's doing swap? I'm just going to play Winston, dim the lights down, Reedy, just like this.
You're sick and tired of me. You told me that it's over and that you've turned a new page over. You drive me out my mind and you're leaving me behind. But before you walk through the door, there is something I've got to make sure of, baby. I really need your loving. Gone away and left me, don't you dare come back and see me. Cause if I keep on seeing you, baby, it's gonna make me feel so blue. When I needed little loving, you just leave me behind. So before it happen again, we better leave it like it is for the time being, baby. I really need your loving. Dare come back and see me. Cause if I keep on seeing you, baby, it's gonna make me feel so blue. You broke my heart before and you're leaving me behind.
Your voice, your story, your community.
This is more than just radio. It's a chance to make a difference.
Real conversations, real research, real impact.
The Kojo Baden and Chilku Community Radio Research Project is bringing communities together, sharing experiences, shaping health, advocacy, and making sure your voice is heard where it matters most.
Want to be part of the conversation? Join us, share your story, and let's create change together.
Kojo Baden and Chilku Community Radio, your voice, your power, your future. Contact Blaze 07956 548 781. Done.
Yeah, so before that ad, I had to do a bit of Winston. Dim the lights, Reedy. It was the 40th anniversary at the BBMC. Myself and Ola from Nico Soft TV, we went. Were you there, E, last Saturday? And E, we all went down to. See, it's like a blur. I felt like it was 2 weeks ago. We're down at the BBMC in Willesden, and it was a great event. There was loads of people there, and I got to bring on some wonderful artists. I connected with Janet Kay and also Tony Gadd from Aswad. I mean, there was Don Campbell, another one of my favourites. There was also General Sain. I refer to him as one of my besties now. Who else was down there? Vincent Knapp was down there. I mean, there was just too many. Kitty Corbin, who was a guest on our show also. There was a plethora of reggae artists down there. And it was a wonderful event. Okay, so back to today. Oh, yeah, we did Bridge Park, but we'll talk about that a bit later. We did Bridge Park last week, Sunday. Great turnout. Thank you, everyone who showed up. That was wonderful. But today's show is entitled The Hill We Climb. And the quote is, "The starting point of all achievement is desire." Our first guest today was Misha, and Misha has given us some exciting news about how she's progressed since being on our show some years ago. In the studio now, I have two of the students, or young people, that Misha was talking about, and they have the pleasure of going off to Jamaica pretty soon. So we're going to find out how that managed to happen for them. Okay, so my first guess is Abid. Have I got that right, Abid?
Yep.
Abid says yep. And Kajari.
Yeah.
Kajari, I like those names. Wonderful. So, guys, you're part of the Dainford Trust and Hackney Quest International Exchange. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's find out first of all. How old are you guys?
I'm 19.
So Kajari is 19.
And I'm 18.
And 18, Abid is 18. What a wonderful age to start experiencing life as adults. It's going to get better going uphill, you know. And then when you get to 25, it goes downhill.
Yeah,
No, I'm
we've heard
joking.
that.
Oh, you're not already? Okay, so I'm not the first to tell you. So between this time and that time, this is the time that you live your best life. And then when you get to 25, people expect you to do some really serious, responsible things. Or does it start earlier, E?
Well, it's according to...
So during the holidays, Christmas, spring, summer. Summer's the big ones, but we used to go on them as kids. And then when we got to around 14, 15, we started doing youth volunteering.
Wow.
Which is also like supervising on trips and helping out the adults. I think right about now we're like adult volunteer trips and helping out the adults. So yeah, I've been doing this for 10 years. I don't know how
It's picked. And I think one of the trips, there was camping.
Yeah,
It was camping. And that's where I met Abid. I remember on the first night, we were there and like...
You met on the camping trip?
Yeah, on the camping
Okay.
trip. I remember the first time on the camping trip, like, he was really trying to talk to me. So
Absolutely not.
Abid's already laughing. He's like, what is the story? What is the story?
He's always, he was definitely trying to talk to me. I was like, you know what? I'm allowing him today.
Yeah. That's, I mean, even now I do my boxercise class, and it's actually in a youth centre I used to go to, and my kids used to go to. You know what I mean? So, and it's still going now, but the security is just so tight now. It's absolutely amazing how the whole thing has changed, but it's good to know that these organisations are still out there. Brilliant.
And I think also it's the longevity, the fact that you stayed. But what's really interesting is how Kajari remembers the detention. We're not going to ask you why he was in detention, but you remember the detention and the thing that you did after, and the fact that you remember meeting Abid. You chose some places to go. You went on a camping trip. And you've been there from young people to adulthood. So that just really shows the benefits of the services that are provided. And I really wanted to echo that because I think that the government need to hear more about that. Why do you both think that these types of organisations are important for young people?
I think it like gives a sense of unity. I think like people, like when I was like 14 and stuff, it was a conflicting time. Like I'm a teenager, I don't really know what I'm trying to be in the world. Or where I'm trying to go, who are my
Love
people.
that.
So yeah, like having a youth club always gave me like a second home. When I didn't know where to go, I would always go to Hackney Quest.
Yeah.
Because I already had family there. Like Kajari was basically my brother at this point.
Yeah.
Because I've known him for this long and we've been this close. So it just gave me that sense like I didn't need to go anywhere else. And I know that a lot of people try and find that unity in other places such as like gangs and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think like having more youth clubs, as you say, like getting the government to give more funding, having more youth clubs would give us that opportunity to like take people away from those gangs and those harmful areas where they're looking just for family and somewhere that they can let out emotions and stuff.
Wow, that's some grown-up stuff. I just want to say, guys, for those of you listening in, if you want to connect with the show, it's just text messages today. I haven't actually set up the phone for any call-ins, but do send a WhatsApp message on 07956548781. So if you were just trying to call to connect with the show, do send us a WhatsApp message or connect during the YouTube and send us a message there. But just to say that I love the fact that you're talking about at 14, sometimes you don't know who you are, you don't know what you want to do, and so you don't even know who your people are, who do you want to be around at that time, and kind of like where are you going. And so that's why it was important for you, and that is the message that still needs to be echoed to the government, who spend lots of time talking about lots of stuff that they don't really have a lived experience of that scenario or situation. And you're talking about your lived experience, and it's so important for young people to be heard. So thank you for sharing that. Kajari, apart from the detention, what is it about those types of organisations that you think is important for young people?
I feel like it's important to like for their development in a way because when you're young, especially in London, there's a lot of violence, like, and knowing there's a place that you could also call like almost like a safe place where you could be yourself, because a lot of the times you always have to have your walls up because you don't know what's happening when you're outside, or like even in school you have to like almost, some people put on a fake persona, and like you have to be almost someone that you're not, and having a place where you could be just yourself and people like liking you for just being you is like really good for you because it helps boost your confidence and like, you know, helps you develop other skills rather than you not saying anything and like no missing opportunities or, you know, like, yeah, pretty much missing any opportunities because you don't speak for it. If you don't have enough confidence to talk about what you want or jump at any opportunities, you're gonna miss it.
Do you know, I found Abdi's recall of why it's important and yours both different but so important. Yours, I think, made me think about the fact that I am the mother of two. They might not say they're young anymore. Maybe they're not young. But anyway, they're still my sons. And I see the plights of other young people. And the time that Big E's talking about, where you just went to any youth club you wanted to. You didn't even have to be from the area. You're just going down to a different borough. And it was absolutely fine. Oh, which borough are you from? Oh, yeah, I'm from West London. I'm from Brent. And it was absolutely fine. And we don't come from a space where we got to kind of be watching our back and thinking
postcode wars and we don't you know what I mean, growing up as you know, when we were growing up there was no such thing, you know what I mean, because we never owned the streets, you know, we just enjoyed the streets, you know what I mean, because back, I mean, obviously we didn't grow up with all the social media stuff that's going on now, because that's why a lot of people say, oh, how come you used to do this and you used to do that? Because we didn't have social media. You know what I mean? So we used to find stuff to do on the right side of the law and have fun. You know what I mean? So it's like skate parks, biking, whatever. That, you know what I mean? It was, everything was outdoors. You know what I mean? The only thing you did indoors was sleep and eat, really. And
like literally,
you know,
wasn't it literally?
I'd help tidy up the house on a Saturday morning. You know,
because you went out in the morning and then you didn't come back until it was time to eat. There's even this joke. They said if you were out and you needed to use the bathroom, you dare not go back in, because once you went back in, your parents say you're not going back out. So
you won't go back out.
You might have had to use someone else's bathroom, but if you use your bathroom at home, that's your play day over. You go out and you come back once. That's it. But to have to, like you said, you know, this persona. And I guess at this age, we do have a persona because, like you said, we're trying to work out who we are. We don't know who we are yet. So do we want to be like the cool guy over there? You know, do we want to be the ones that's just getting our heads down and getting on with our work because of our parents? There's not an option. Where do we want to fit into the society? I think what's great is that it sounds like you both have found your own. And it sounds like that must have had a lot to do with, you know, a combination, you know, your parents and the organisation at which you belong to. So, guys, I've got to say there's a little bit of travel envy here because I'm not going to Jamaica. But if you could tell us what you're most looking forward to, or maybe if there's anything you need to do to make this happen. Who's going to go first?
I'll go first.
Don't forget to talk nice and loud so everyone can hear you.
I think what I'm looking forward to is like just the culture exchange, to be honest, because we grew up in Hackney. It's like heavily Caribbean population. So I've always grown up around Jamaicans and Trinidadians and stuff.
And what is your cultural heritage?
I'm from Bangladesh.
Bangladesh.
So, we've got a pretty big population there as well. So like having grown up like Caribbean culture, I just want to go and see like, do they do stuff similar? Is it exactly the same? What's different about it?
You mean between Hackney and Jamaica?
You climb mango tree, you get your mango. You climb mango tree, you get your mango. You run up in a neighbour's yard, grab as much, what's it called? Breadfruit as you can. You do as much as you can.
That's the real experience,
That's
right?
the real Jamaican.
Yeah, because not everybody knows about, you know, a trust that is going to help you. Because not everybody knows about, you know, a trust that is going to help you to go onto an international exchange.
But I heard Bacon, go ahead.
There was also a run that we did, just to fundraise. So yeah, we've been doing a lot. At first we thought that we were going to go Joburg, when we ended up not happening. So we have the fundraising to get there and the accommodation. But since we have a little more time to kill till January when we go, we were thinking, why don't we raise a bit more so we can actually give workshops and stuff that we can give back to Jamaica, and leave it there so that we make sure we have an impact. So yeah, we're fundraising right now through crowdfunding.
So if people want to get involved in that part of your journey, what do they need to do? How do they get access to the information?
We've got a link on, I believe, the Hackney Quest Instagram. We've also got it on the Dainford Trust, where you can go to our crowdfunder and donate anything that you can. As Tesco says, every little helps.
Every little helps.
And yeah.
Wonderful. So Mr. Klein, Breadfruit Tree, roast breadfruit, Spanish Town. Tell us about all of the things that you do.
So, for one, I like to say that during the fundraising, I had a big part to help with like, you know, holding the back of the team. So I had to bake the sales. Obviously, you had exams. I'll give you an excuse this time.
Yeah. So you did a bake sale?
Yeah, I did a bake sale.
What did you bake?
So I made, what was it? Chocolate chip cookies with orange meringue.
Okay.
Yeah, and I did a 10K run. Not bad.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
Did you bring any cookies, or are you just telling us that's what happened?
Oh no,
that's what happened.
That's
okay.
what happened. Yeah.
They're really good cookies.
Okay, but he's already invited you back, so you can bring your really good cookies when you come back next. A 10K run.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to get ready for that?
So what it took me was like, let's say 2 days prior.
2 days?
Yeah, because I'm a bit lazy, but you know. 2 days prior.
You trained for 2 days?
Yeah, just 2 days, yeah. So for 2 days, I did a 10K run in the morning, and then a 5K run in the night. And then on the day of, I just ran it. It was easy. Yeah.
It wasn't easy. I got the message. He was panting and sweating. he's absolutely putting it in the front.
The first project is putting new experiences on the air. We're amplifying voices, uncovering truths, and ensuring research speaks to the realities of African and Caribbean communities. Be part of the conversation. Kodja Baden and Chilka Community Radio, where research meets real life. Contact us on 07 956 548
The C Word Project. It's more than just cancer. It's community care courage. And it's time for a conversation that reflects us. The C Word Project is here for you. A culturally rooted support network for African Caribbean individuals facing cancer. Because our stories, our voices, and our resilience deserve a space to be heard. Join the conversation. The C Word Project is where community heals. Contact Blaze on 07956 548 781.
Cancer. It's a journey no one should walk alone. Yet too often, our voices, our stories are unheard. Than a support network. It's a space for African and Caribbean individuals to share, heal, and uplift one another. Because our communities deserve compassion, understanding, and action. Join us, the C Word Project, because community changes everything. Contact Sarah on 07 958 338.
From the African Caribbean community? Are you or someone you know living with cancer? Looking for a space to connect, learn and grow? Join us for Community Chatboat, your monthly workshop series where real conversations create real change. Don't just listen, join the conversation. Be part of our next Community Chat workshop. Your voice, your community, your space. Contact Sarah on 07 958 338 564. Chatboat.
Okay, so we're back from the break. Oh my goodness, what a wonderful set of young people. They're absolutely wonderful. Sending shouts out to Margaret Christopher. Lovely to have seen you and Dad last week, Sunday, down at the Stonebridge complex, Bridge Park. I can't remember. It's like Stonebridge. Where was I? What's the place called again? I don't know if that's menopause or if that's a night of karaoke. But anyway, we were down at Bridge Park last week, Sunday. What a wonderful, wonderful turnout. Guys, if you're joining us on the YouTube Live, thank you for staying with us. And if you've just tuned in, today's show is called The Hill We Climb. And the quote goes simply like this: "The starting point of all achievements is desire." You're tuning into Let's Talk Show Live with your girl Blaze and Big E. It is, of course, the Let's Talk Show, and it is the live, the real talk show. And we have had a wonderful start to our morning. So, guys, I just want to say this really important fact, and some of you will know this. Myself and E, we meet people all of the time, and the conversation goes like this: "Oh, you'd make a great guest for the show. Why don't you come on the show?" And they often go, "Yeah, okay, or I'll let you know." Now, the fact of the matter is, for some people, the reality might not happen for 2 years, and it just is the way that the creator has it. And so my next guest is somebody who I adore from afar. And I've been saying that, not even just that I wanted to come into the show and to be a guest. I've gone so far as to say, you need to have your own show. But we've been saying this for about 2 years, probably. No, actually, no, I think it's... Is it lockdown?
Yes.
Oh, dear, she's just going to throw me right under the bus now. I think it was during that time, wasn't it? Because we met online, didn't we? Let me just adjust this. Yeah, we met online, and it was a time when I needed some help. And this individual just came on, just like, "Oh, I'll help." And she really, truly did. And in that moment, there was a straight connection. And I thought, you just need to be with me more of the time. I almost hired her, actually, but then I realised I couldn't afford to. So I thought, let me just invite her onto the show. It's not everything you see that other people have you must want. But I was like, no, I need this young individual in my space. So her name is Shez Christopher. And she's sharp and witty, and she really is. She's also very warm-spirited because she taught me about taking care of myself, and I just think that is wonderful. She's referred to as a legal eagle in the Caribbean, her roots running through the islands of St. Kitts and Nevis. What's wonderful about that is that mine also run through the same. St. Kitts and Nevis is such that we could well be related, but we're going to find that out maybe when we spend more time together. But she also supports in the Dominican Republic, despite being born right here in the UK, like myself. So, Shez, welcome. I think I can say a lot of welcomes now to the Let's Talk Show Live with myself, Blaze, and Big E. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing?
I'm absolutely amazing. Thank you both, Big E and yourself, Blaze, for having me here. It's a privilege, and as you said, it's something we've been saying we want to do for a long time, but nothing before its time.
I was just going to say, you have that thought, yeah.
We're here.
And when you arrived at the studio today, I said to you, you're here now, this is the time, right?
Absolutely.
This is the time. So you and I have the wonderful common ground of hailing our parents from St. Kitts and Nevis. Tell us a little bit about your background.
So whilst my mother is from St. Kitts and Nevis, my father's actually from the Dominican Republic. So I have multifaceted, but you know what, I think all Caribbeans are one in any event.
Yes.
Just a little bit of sea that divides a rock, or the mentality of those who want to keep us separate to divide us, but truly we're all one. And
absolutely.
I had the unfortunate privilege of being born in the cold UK.
You and me both.
But alas, it has its benefits. So we take those benefits, enhance it, and benefit the world, global diaspora, and back home, of course.
Yeah, because you know when you can just be upset about something that had nothing to do with it. I was like, why did they leave before I was born? Why did they? I really have this wish, like, anyway, but like you said, it is what it is. And sometimes the country's born in you and you're not always born in the country. So thank you for joining us. So talk about your, what was life like for you? Did you grow up in Brent?
I grew up right in the heart of Brent, in Wembley.
In Wembley?
I think I had my former years in Church Street, but I left there by the time I was 3 or 4. And after that, it was Brent all the way until I moved out to Hertfordshire in about 34 years later.
Nice. So you understand the culture of the London borough of Brent.
Absolutely.
So talk to us a little bit about the things that you like doing. I saw this video and it was about healthy eating, right? And one of the things, I mean, you heard me talking about roast breadfruit. I could probably eat that all day. And I don't remember what E's take on this, but I have to say okra is one of the most difficult things for me to eat. Do you like okra, E?
I put it in the blender.
Yeah, see? Maybe that's it. But it's the thing that I eat because people say it's good for you, right? Yeah. But if I had to choose, I wouldn't say, oh, let's have a plate of okra. That wouldn't know. So you're also interested in healthy eating.
I am. I think that if we look at, a lot of us can look at our journey in steps from our formative years, primary school, secondary school, college. But if you get the opportunity to look at the bigger picture and think how you want to live your life as an older person, then you know that you've got to begin to map out from a younger age how you want to try and be as an older person. And part of that is our lifestyle of eating. And I know we can't take into consideration things that are outside of our control, but if you think, well, I definitely don't want diabetes, if you can help it. I definitely don't want blood sugar, if you can help it. Then that's the bigger picture. So throughout your whole journey, you think, well, why do I need so much salt?
And was that something that came to you as a younger person, or was there a moment where you think, actually, this is the point at which I need to switch it up now?
I think it came to me when I realised so many of our communities, black folks, our parents and grandparents are suffering from diabetes and blood sugar. It's almost like a given. Yeah. And I thought, that's not going to be my given. So from that way, I turned it around and thought, no, not that way. That's not how I'm going to end the journey here. So that's part of what I love to do, is think about the bigger picture. I
do understand that, because sometimes I'm not trying to, belittle people and stuff like that, but you see some people and you think, you know what, I don't want to be like that. You know what I mean? So you've got to do something about it to say to yourself, how do I not get that way? Yeah, and obviously you've got to change up, and it's not just changing, it's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle. And we do slip from time to time,
of course,
but the bigger picture, we map out and like, today I'll have some indulge, but for the rest of the week or the rest of the month, no indulge. And then,
Yeah, that makes sense. Every now and then you can have a little something, but I guess they say too much of one thing isn't good, right? So you take care of your house. Now, I saw Shez make okra punch, was it? And I got to tell you, even though I don't like okra, I was like, if you see it, you will say, I have got to try it. I wanted to try it in that moment, but of course, okra is not something that lives in my house very often. But it looks really healthy, and I think if we're a bit creative with all that we do, it can make the difference.
And I can make a promise that next time I see you, I'll be bringing you some okra punch.
Nice. We got okra punch. We got, what was the biscuits that Kajaj made? Was it something with orange peel or something? But anyway, we've got biscuits and punch. I love that. So Shez, you're also a mother.
I'm a mother of one son who's a pilot.
Oh.
And he qualified as a commercial pilot just as COVID started 2020. So, the industry was quite low then because all the planes were not going to be flying. So they had a lull for like about 2.5 years, almost 3 years. So during that time, he refocused and went into private tuition. And he teaches private students science, physics, all the sciences, maths, and that's what he's been doing as a living since. And in the summer, he has his own little private firm where he takes people flying. I think it's called Aaron Air. And like if you wanted to take your wife or your child or your friend out just to the Isle of Wight or to France, you say, Aaron, take me across to the Isle of Wight, please, or to Bournemouth, and he would do that.
I love that. What's interesting about that is that our show last week, we had Joshua King, and he's striving to be a pilot, commercial pilot. So he's a private pilot, striving to be a commercial pilot. And before that, we had Rashid Graham, a young man who, during that same COVID time, lost his scholarship. And so we helped him, supported him to raise some funds.
With Joshua, Aaron actually took him under his wings in the early days and took him out on his first private flight.
Oh, he took Joshua
Aaron
out.
took Joshua out. So just coincidence.
I tell you what, it's not even a coincidence, right? It's that we have these happenings in the studio and we call it magic. So were you part of the story last week then?
I don't believe so, because actually I didn't get to listen to it because I was working. But I do know that...
Do you know Joshua's mum?
I do. I know she reached out to me when Joshua was just in the beginning, wanting to learn, and Aaron was just coming through to the end, and he already had his Saturday summertime scheme going where he'd take people out, and I know he took Joshua
Okay,
out.
so do you know why you're on the show today? Because if you'd come before, you wouldn't. So last week, Joshua spoke about that story.
Oh.
Yeah. And you were here this week having not even known that.
I didn't know that.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Everything in its time.
I tell you, that's the creator. So you've got a son that you're very proud of. I'm also proud of him too. And I think you should come and visit us on the show. And you do fostering as well?
I foster children. And one of the reasons I ended up in fostering is, when we were younger, our parents always had a propensity to take other people's children in. You'd come home from school and there'd be somebody else in your house.
Auntie so-and-so's son,
Auntie
is it?
so-and-so's child. And that's how I grew up. And I thought, well, it's a community thing. We have to help each other. So I grew up thinking that I'd always foster children, because without us fostering our children, number one, from a Christian perspective, number two, the world is changing and there are males or he-she's fostering children too. But I want to leave a positive impact in the life of these children. And if I don't do it, I don't know who else is going to do it. There are he-she's which are allowed to and permitted to, but I want to do it from another perspective.
Yeah.
So I love sowing into children. I may never see them when they leave my home, but I know what I've sowed into them.
That's great. I was a nominated carer for lots after children, and I do understand, because there's one occasion with one little boy that I almost kept, and I had to say, if I keep him, I'll be keeping all of them, so I need to wish him well and see him on his way. So YouTubing with your wonderful culinary ideas and okra punch. You've got a son who you're very proud of, who's a pilot and does some great work. You love to do fostering, but you're also driven by doing some other stuff to help people. And one of those things is about dual heritage.
Absolutely.
Talk to us about dual heritage, who you help and how that works.
I think number one, we're born here because that's our parents' choice. And number two, as you said to the young people before, the world is your oyster to reach out to where we might want to reside. And I believe that of all the Caribbean people born in the UK, we should all benefit from dual heritage, because we never know when the country's going to say enough is enough. And it's your right, it's your birthright. If your parents are from Jamaica, from St. Lucia, from St. Kitts, you're absolutely entitled to a passport. Not citizenship by investment where you have to have 500, 250,000 pounds, but a mere few £100s can entitle you to a passport, citizenship, and open up your remit to working in the Caribbean. And I encourage everybody of the diaspora to do it. Don't lose it. It's a gift which is invaluable, and it's your home.
Absolutely. So what do you think about that, E?
Yeah, I think I know quite a few people that's got dual citizenship, and quite a few people are on my case to do it. And I've had a few people say to me, next time you come back, I'll set some papers up for you to do certain things. And I think we should, and it's an opportunity that not everybody gets, or not everybody know about. So now we're speaking about it. It's obviously now, hopefully that's going to sow some seeds. Yeah. And people think, well, you know what? Yeah, I never actually thought of that. So yeah, I think it's a great idea.
The lifestyle of working in the Caribbean, can you imagine? No 365 days of rain.
Yeah.
It's normal to see black folks as professors, as judges, as lawyers. Whereas here, when you see them, it's like, oh, that's a one-off. But in those environments, it's normal, and your children have a different mentality when they grow up and see all the professionals as black folk. And I've made sure I've got mine and my sons, and I'm going to apply for my granddaughters, because it's a heritage thing. I want them to understand that being here and being a token gives you a different mentality to being there where it's normal.
So interestingly, for yourself, you're saying dad's from the Dominican Republic, mum's from St. Kitts and Nevis. What have you got in terms of citizenship? Are you citizen for both?
I've got, because I don't speak Spanish, which is quite sad. My dad didn't teach us Talk about passing on your heritage.
Yeah,
But it's
yeah.
up to me anyway to learn it.
still do
So
it,
I've got St. Kitts at the moment. I might venture into the Dominican one, but I know I want to speak the language first because I don't want to rely on anybody else's interpretation.
But if Dad speaks to you in Spanish, do you understand it?
Daddy doesn't speak Spanish now himself.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's something he lets lack, but
Yeah.
it's up to us. I can't blame Daddy because we're adults, and at our fingertips, YouTube knowledge
Yeah, yeah.
is there to
It's
learn.
everything's there.
You can learn that.
Yes.
And so, do you frequent both the countries?
I frequent St. Kitts mainly because then Daddy decided to. His parents took him to St. Kitts to live.
Oh,
so
I
then
see.
he kind of severed a little bit of the ties with the Dominican Republic, although that's his birthplace. So I spend most times in St. Kitts with both parents, and I formed a company with somebody called HDC where we specialize and reach out to the community. Get your passports, reach out to us, let us help you.
Okay.
That's what we do.
I love that. So you make sure that people have an opportunity to understand and know the process. Is the process challenging?
No, it's not challenge. Well, it's challenging if you do it by yourself. And that's not because I'm saying to use us. You could go to the embassies and pay them, and they will do it. And it can take a while. Or you could have a personal service where someone's going to walk you through and do all the hard work for you. You just have to like kind of bless us a little bit with something.
Yeah.
And we'll do all of that for you, door-to-door service. Any inquiries, we take that on. And that's also St. Lucia as well.
So you do St. Lucia and you do St.
And
Kitts
St.
and Nevis?
Kitts, yes.
What's wonderful is that I met your parents, not the first time though. I met them on Sunday, and I just thought how fortunate that you still have both your parents.
Yes.
So for someone like myself, whose parents were both born in St. Kitts and Nevis, and they're no longer, they're my ancestors now, they're deceased. How difficult is it for me to obtain dual citizenship?
It's not difficult. As long as you can get hold of their birth certificate, that's all you need. Nothing else. The rest, the globe is yours.
And is a birth certificate something that I struggle to find mine, let alone find my dad's? Is the birth certificate something you can go to St. Kitts and Nevis and apply for? Is it like how you hit?
Yes,
Okay.
it's something you can go to St. Kitts for. If you have family there, you can ask them to do it, or you can ask us at HDC to get that done for you. But if you have family in the diaspora, it's just like going to their registry office, paying their certificate fee, and obtaining that.
Okay.
And once you have that, you're en route.
Talk to us about the length of the process.
Island by island, because you know the Caribbean is a little bit slower than here. So
Just a tiny bit.
So I always say to people, give us, when we're doing it, give us between 4 and 5 months and you'll have it in your hands.
Okay.
The longest I've ever seen it take is 6 months. Other than that, 4 or 5 months and it's in your hands.
Oh, that sounds quite exciting. That's not sounding too long at all. And you've made it sound kind of nice and easy, right? So I thank you for that. I want to send shouts out to Sandra, who we reminisced about our love for Winston Reedy back in the day, and she said she was just about to turn her lights out, because that's something we used to do when we were younger, dim the lights and we'd turn our lights out. So Sandra, I hope you put the lights back on, because we want you to be able to see and hear everything that's happening today. Guys, if you have just joined us, today's show is entitled The Hill We Climb, and the quote is, "The starting point of all achievement is desire." My special guest in this part of the show is Shez Christopher. It's been long in coming, but it's such a wonderful experience to have you with us. Shez, as well as doing the dual citizenship, almost made a big blurb there. Tell us what else you do. What other work do you do?
So other than working as a lawyer and a mediator, because I like the community is power. And so many of us work hard all of our lives.
We think that means that the hospital's just going to call us when you come. We think that means that the hospital's just going to call us when you come out of surgery. But what does it actually mean to be someone's next of kin?
Okay, so next of kin, number one, is recorded usually in a will, number one, as in somebody you're leaving a beneficiary to. Or next of kin, for a lasting power of attorney perspective, is you have nominated that person to be your voice, to be your representative, to speak for you, to have the right to look for your records, to have the right to go to your banks, and they have been nominated as your official next of kin, not just because they're your spouse, not just because they're your child, not just because they're your good friend. And if you want to make them your next of kin, you've got to document it.
Because that's interesting though, because when like when you go into hospital and you're having surgery or whatever they say, and who's your next of kin, and we just call either the sibling we get on best with, your best friend, or like you said, your partner, or your parents, because we think that just means, well, it's anybody I choose, and that's it.
That's okay in that regard, because what that does, it's a term which is not when it comes on to the financial institutions, or not when it comes on to your right for medical records to be shared, no. But if everything's okay, then it's whoever puts their name on the paper. But next of kin, people often think about also in relation to wills. But that's a bit of a fallacy as well, because if you don't have a will, who is your next of kin? And according to the law of intestacy, there's a strict, who is your next of kin? And according to the law of intestacy, there's a strict order of who can receive from your estate. So it's just important to understand some of these terms are widely used, but what do they mean when you want to challenge a situation or you want to help somebody, and it might mean going up against a bigger body?
That's so important, because I think sometimes like somebody could say to you, oh, will you be my next of kin? And you say, yes, your best friend, but you may not know really what you're taking on, right?
Absolutely. So what we do at a company called Protect Us, we're here to promote it, especially in our community, but not just our community, but because our community have a fear of talking about planning ahead when it comes onto our health, planning ahead when it comes onto us passing over, we have to plan ahead. And I think it was 80,000 or more of us who just don't do this. And we leave it to the taxman to gain and to gain. After working so hard, paying taxes, why would you want to, because of lack of knowledge, leave it to the taxman to make up his mind, leave it to the government to decide who gets your money, who... No, it's not right.
And then there's a dead left. That's a whole story, the ones that then come thereafter.
That's why...
Shows his head shaking like, that's another show.
Dead left is another show. It's another show. But knowledge is power, Blaze and Biggie, when it comes on to us educating each other as to how to understand next of kin, how to make somebody your voice when you can't be, how to stop care home fees, which so many of our community might succumb to. Your mother's worked so hard. What I do, it's dependent on my co-worker as well, because he does all the electrical and IT stuff.
It's rave. When are my friends going to the arcade? When am I going to go and hang with my friends? But it seems like, I don't know for you, what do you think you were thinking about in your earlier years? What were your priorities? I know I've said raving as a joke, but what were your priorities?
Well, there was 5 siblings, and all very different. And mother was one who went to church and father wasn't. So 3 went towards my father's direction and 2 went towards the church. But I was just a happy-go-lucky child. I'm the youngest of 5, and play. Until one day, I came home and saw my father crying. And I said to my mum, why is Daddy crying? And it was because his father had passed away. So my thought was, well, is he going to go home? Because I know that's what happened with our parents. They went home. They said, no. I said, why? We didn't have the finances. For the first time, that's when it struck me. What do you mean we don't have money to send Daddy home? And for the first time, I awoke. And I said, that will never happen to me. I must have been 11. And I didn't know what broke was. Not that we were broke, because we had everything. But we didn't have enough to send him home. And I didn't have no money at 11. But from that, something clicked in my head that I've got to live in another way to make money. I've got to learn how to make money. And if you look at the Asians, if you look at the ants, then if you look at our community, and I changed my ethos so that as a young person, 16, Shez came from a company I formed called Salvation's Here, Enter Zion. I wanted to make money. I sold Christian t-shirts. I traveled around and just kept making money. Remember the Partner?
Yeah.
I entered the Partner, the pyramid. I entered the pyramid. I had to make money. Bought my first house at 21. I had to do things different. And I made a vow that as long as I was alive, my parents wouldn't need. I had to make money. And I just...
You had your first home?
Yes.
21 having your first home, and then by the time you were 30, and you now have a property portfolio.
Yeah, but then I had to sell some of them because teenagers grow up. My son needed to go to piloting school, and there was...
How they pulled together and made good so that they can be good in this space now, and I think that's wonderful. E, what things do you think you were thinking of sort of before 30? At 21, were you thinking of buying property?
At 21...
Or did you have property?
No, I was actually thinking about property, but the space that was in wasn't allowing the person that was linked to, and they weren't thinking on the same page as me. So, you know what I mean, you've had to... But it's a space that I stayed in. So, obviously, it was a bit of a to and fro. But It was something that came to mind, and it was something I used to talk about to some of the youngers and them, you know what I mean, and you know, about house prices in here.
Yeah, because I think you know, sometimes you just have to go with where you're at.
Yeah.
But I think for me was that, or what I think would have been more beneficial for me, because I do think at 19 I was like, I'm going to have my own business, I'm going to learn to drive, and all of this stuff. I think the struggle for me back then was finding people like yourselves, where it seemed like there were so few and far between. Yeah. And you know, with the piloting, your son will probably tell you, it's about 7% of pilots that are from the African diaspora. So 7%, you know, of commercial pilots. The narrative makes it difficult.
Definitely.
And that's why I think it's important for someone who has your mindset to kind of give. And that's why I love spending time with young people. That's why E and I love doing the show, because I think what we have, we must then share. Women to women, for men too.
Yes. So woman
Fabulous.
to woman, for men too. Growing up in the church, there were so many things that women go through that nobody wants to speak about. And I just thought, well, what happened? Why are all these things taboo? And I'm not a rebel, but I'm real. And it's real. Things we're going through are real, and you can't spiritualize them. They are real.
Yeah. And
we need to know how to deal with it. And we can't just be quoting scripture and not applying these things to women who are actually experienced. So I decided I'm going to write about these things and get women to write in. And if they want to be anonymous, they can do that, because tell your story in these areas. You can be anonymous, but let's open up the book.
Because we met, do you remember, we were doing an online Zoom around, was it menopause or diabetes, or probably both? And we were doing it so that people from St. Kitts and Nevis were tuning in.
Yes.
And what I needed was some assistance of some kind, or some technical support. And somebody was supposed to be doing it with us. We couldn't find them. They dropped out. And you were like, oh, I'll help. And that was it. So menopause was one of the things that, as a radio station, as a show, and as an organisation, when did we start? Was it just before lockdown?
Yeah,
as well. But people weren't talking about it.
Absolutely.
So I was just going around with all these strange things happening, and some of them I didn't even know they were connected.
Absolutely.
And the biggest one for me is driving anxiety, and I've now suffered with that for about 4 or 5 years, and I am about to get back on the road this year, so pray for me, people. I'm getting back on the road probably in September. I don't even know what that's going to look like. Of course, you never forget how to drive. You just get in, zops, and you're gone. What it's going to feel like, I don't know. But that's why it's important for people to understand. I've been driving for more than 36 years. So how all of a sudden I can't drive now, and I don't know what.
The importance of educating your husband or your spouse or your partner, because I've seen women in the church go through divorces because they were afraid to tell their husbands that sex was very painful, because they didn't produce any lubricant anymore, so they just stopped being active. And the husband still being rampant and active, thinking, well, what go on, you know, and actually went out and got it somewhere else.
Yeah.
And all because of lack of communication. So that's one of the things we covered.
But also the interesting thing about that is when we first started having these conversations, the men were saying a lot, and she's like this. I did an event, which is quite an interesting thing. I did a gig at this event because somebody asked me to do it at their birthday party, and I said, who wants to talk about menopause at your birthday party?
Men.
The men. The women didn't come out. The men came out, and they were like, oh my goodness, you have just described my wife.
Yes.
Can you help me? Can you help me?
That's right.
I don't think I've been in any one venue and collected that many numbers from men at once. Whatever I've worn, whatever I've done, they literally thought I was. In fact, I wasn't even leaving. I was just going. It's on the internet. Is it Instagram? And it's called the We Do Not Care Club. Have you heard of it?
No, I haven't.
Oh my goodness, it's one of my favourite.
So you're not just there in their life, and when they meet their partner, you're there putting your foot in. It's learning how to let go. There are so many things in the church that it's not just about, we're here, we're going to die, we're going to go to heaven. We have a whole life on earth to live. And we have
the dash that looks like the most insignificant thing is the biggest thing of all.
I heard that.
What did you do in that dash? What did you do in that time? And you know, E and I talk about living our best lives all the time. And you're talking about, and what I love about your story, it's about how you share. So lots of people say, oh, you know, it's there's no I in team, but
we must be real. We must, because that dash is all of that.
Yeah, yeah.
And heaven is just the end part. But that dash is how we have lived the journey that we have had. And what is success? Is success getting to heaven? That's one kind of success. But success is how did you dash that journey? What did you do?
What was your thing?
Yeah.
Do you know what, Shiz? I'm trying to find your song, but I'm just trying to think now that...
It's okay.
I am ready to roll. Once the rules remain the same, how the story's been told. Call me anytime, never cop out. Lioness is on the rise, don't you ever have down. Never say never, willingness forever to fight and be strong. Once it's for better, I'll write every letter and moving right along. And I'll roll with the punches, accept changes, work with the formula, do what I have to do, and call me by my name. I am ready to roll. Once the rules remain the same, how the story's been told. Call me anytime, never cop out. Lioness is on the rise, don't you ever have doubt. When you are willing to serve, we have room to observe, to see if you can walk.
I love fairness and I hate inequity in every shape and form. Even in relation to our own people who seem to be dispensed a harder justice for the same crime that their counterpart. And with me there, I know, I'm sorry if there's three of them and they're committing the same crime, the folk of colour are not going down with the greater. Simple as that. So it's going to take me longer to get there because my mindset is different. I know you have to have a certain mindset to fit with that, but I come with the authority of God, and trust me, I'm going to get there. And justice has to be like Solomon, fair across the board.
Yes, indeed. Magistrates has been something that has been put to me a number of times. But, you know, I wish you all the best with your dream. It seems like your desires and your dreams, you make them happen, you make them come true. It's been a wonderful pleasure to have you on the show. And what's wonderful is that I know that this is not going to be the last we're seeing you. It's not going to be the last time you're going to be in this studio. You might not have known that before, but you will be back, as will our first guest. But guys, it has been the Let's Talk Show live with Girl Blaze and Big E. Today's show is entitled The Hill We Climb, and the quote was simply, the starting point of all our achievement is desire. And we've had desire from Shez Christopher, we've had desire from our three guests earlier. We had Misha, who's supporting from the Damford Trust and the Hackney Quest International Exchange, and Abid and Kajari are going to Jamaica. Do you have any final words before we sign out and say goodbye?
Breathe out. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, it's all information, and once again, the Let's Talk Show has just provided information that people don't know that's out there. So, as we say, it's keeping the community connected. Absolutely, and I'm going to end with if you're ready, because everyone seems so ready today. So if you're ready, guys, it's the Staple Sisters. But before that, in the meantime, between time, it's your Girl Blaze, and I'm out.